ChatGPT Atlas is facing immediate scrutiny from security researchers who say agentic browsing creates a dangerous new attack surface. So we've talked about a little bit. Atlas is introducing things like browser memories and an experimental agent mode that can read pages, click buttons, carry out tasks. These features make it really interesting, but also exploitable. So there's a number of articles and commentary we're tracking where experts are warning of prompt injection attacks, where hidden instructions on web pages can actually hijack the agent that Atlas is using to exfiltrate emails, overwrite clipboards with malicious links, or even initiate downloads. So basically, what this is doing is the agent is collapsing the boundary between data and instructions. So if it's reading a prompt in certain contexts that are hidden on a page, it may actually take that prompt and think it is instructions, which then turns the agent into an attack vector. Now, OpenAI's Chief Information Security Officer, Dane Stuckey, released a statement saying the company has performed extensive red teaming. They've added overlapping guardrails. They're investing in rapid response systems. And he acknowledged that prompt injection remains what they call a frontier unsolved problem. So that's a start, but there's a lot of commentary from the security community about just these huge privacy flags and issues with these exploits that are just straight up not yet addressed. So basically, they're arguing this is not ready for security prime time, and especially non-technical users may not even realize that there are exploits possible that are unique to agentic browsers. So, Paul, I was curious of your take here, because it just this is the elephant in the room on this topic, right? Is the security issues here, giving your agent the ability to go do things for you. The fact that it can then be exploited seems like an absolute nightmare. I don't know how you actually use this in any enterprise today if you wanted to.
I don't either. So as the CEO of a company, again,
Yeah,
that's
right.
my first thing is do not turn this on, do not use this, through the company accounts, company computers, unless it's in a very controlled environment and we know what we're doing. So you don't want everybody just going in and testing this. So we'll put a few links in here related to this. There is the help article directly from OpenAI where they talk about the specifics around data control. So in the section where it says include web browsing, it says this setting is available when improve the model for everyone is enabled. This is separate from your ChatGPT settings, by the way. So you would have to actually control the Atlas settings separately. There was a really interesting thing here. I haven't seen OpenAI address this yet, but I saw this brought up by a couple people. It says the improve the model for everyone in Atlas controls whether the content you browse in ChatGPT Atlas can be used to train our models. What does that mean? So if I am using Atlas and I go to someone's website with copyrighted material on it, I get to decide if they can train on that? How does that work? So I don't know if it's just they misspoke. It doesn't seem that way. It seems quite intentional, but I don't know what train our models on someone else's content means and how a user could be the one that decides that that's what happens. So that's an interesting one. We'll wait for some clarification on. And then in the browser memories, this is an important area for people to understand. So they say browser memories let ChatGPT remember useful details from your web browsing to provide better responses and suggestions. No big deal, kind of like cookies, that when you're browsing, it remembers things. But you can go in and control the setting. But then a little more context, it says, as you browse in Atlas, web content is summarized on our servers. We apply safety and sensitive data filters that are designed, keep that word in mind, designed to keep out personally identifiable information. Does not mean they succeed at it all the time, but they are designed like government IDs, social security numbers, bank account numbers, online credentials, account recovery content, and addresses, and private data like medical records and financial information. We block summaries altogether on certain sensitive websites like adult sites. So, just to make this super clear to everybody, they monitor everything you do. It remembers everything you do, including all of your personal information and activity, and it summarizes all of that unless their data filters work correctly and they extract it all. So let's assume that those work. You have to know when you're going to use this that's how this technology works, though, is it captures everything you do so it can use it. So you are now trusting OpenAI that their filters work and they're not able to be manipulated, and that stuff doesn't end up somewhere you don't want it to. So just again clarifying. So Simon Wilson, Mike, who you mentioned in that same article that we talked about in the first topic, he said the security and privacy risks involved here feel insurmountably high to me. I certainly won't be trusting any of these products until a bunch of security researchers have given them a very thorough beating. One other thing he mentioned was there was another detailing announcement post that caught his eye. He said website owners can add ARIA tags, ARIA
Yeah.
tags, to improve ChatGPT agent works. So this is a note to, like, again, the technical side and the marketers. So ARIA tags use the same labels and roles that support screen readers to interpret page structure and interactive elements. So just make sure you're talking with your team about that. So when we talk about getting your site ready for this kind of agentic browser, that's the kind of thing. One other I'll mention that we'll put a link in is this prompt injections. Mike, you brought this one up just to give a little clarity how this works. So there's a company called Brave. We'll drop this link in. They had an article about unseeable prompt injections. And here's what theirs said. So building on previous disclosure of the Perplexity Comet vulnerability, we've continued our security research across the agentic browser landscape. What we found confirms our initial concerns. Indirect prompt injections is not an isolated issue, but a systematic challenge facing the entire category of AI-powered browsers. As we've written before, AI-powered browsers that can take actions on your behalf are powerful yet extremely risky. If you've signed into sensitive accounts like your bank or your email provider in your browser, simply summarizing a Reddit post could result in an attack being able to steal money or your private data. And then it actually goes into like a very understandable overview of like how this basically works, how the trigger works. But long story short, if people know what they're doing and they want to get at data, they can do this kind of thing quite easily. And then I always laugh when we cite Pliny the Liberator, but like there's this amazing Twitter account I would suggest following. We'll put the link in, but Pliny the Liberator, it's an actual person, that's a pseudonym, obviously. But what that person put in, he said, in my opinion, a very real security risk to be aware of for AI browsers is the humble yet mighty vulnerability of clipboard injection, which is like you copy and paste something unbeknownst. So not only is there the prompt injection where maybe you click on something and automatically injects it, but if you do a copy paste on a page where someone has like hidden some text data that's actually like an instruction to your system of what to do. Long story short, as you mentioned, Dane Stuckey, the chief information security officer at OpenAI, had a very long-winded tweet about this. And Dane doesn't tweet very often. So like you could tell this became an issue real fast. And so he had probably like a 500-word tweet about what they're doing. And it's because this is very obviously not safe for work stuff.
Yeah.
So yes, the idea of this is cool. It is very early. You may individually struggle to find use cases where this is any better than Chrome. Probably it isn't, I would say at this point, but you can see where OpenAI is trying to go with this and how they're trying to shift behavior and really get you to treat OpenAI's ChatGPT as a platform for your life and your work. That's what they're trying to get to. This is like a step in that process, not the end game.
I also wonder for myself personally and just in general, where is the tipping point? Like I look at this and say, okay, if OpenAI came out with a system card tomorrow that says, hey, by the way, we solved everything. It works perfectly. Sure, I'll go test it.
Right.
I still don't know until I've actually verified it. So when am I going to hit that point? Personally, I don't know. Curious about wider consumer behavior too. They seem to just be releasing this and it is deeply unsafe at the moment.
Yeah.
How is that going to change behavior? Are people just going to get numb to it? I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah. So, and maybe Mike, this is a good example of what we're going to do with our AI Pulse surveys we're talking about. Like, this is the exact thing. Like, okay, let's ask our audience, like, do you feel safe trying an agentic browser kind of thing? Like, this is exactly, and maybe we'll add that as a question next week as like a follow-up to this week's, but we don't know. Yeah. And I think that's why it's so fascinating to get that real-time research from people and find out where people are at with this. And if you're a business leader, would you ever allow the testing of this in your company outside of like IT in a protected sandbox kind of thing?
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess long story short here is experiment at your own risk, and just be real cautious with how you use it, and that it's very early. And so if you don't get it, there's probably a reason why it's not really ready for prime time stuff yet.